Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Edureka and welcome to this video on Machine Learning Roadmap. If you're an IT professional who's interested in a career in machine learning, or if you're a student who's just graduated and wondering if you have any prospects in the field of machine learning and don't know how to get started, or if you're simply somebody who wants to learn machine learning because it is cool, then you have come to the right place. We're going to give you a dead simple roadmap, guys, that you can follow to become a machine learning wizard. But before we dive into the video, let's take a look at the agenda for today. First, we'll start off by talking about why machine learning. Why has its applications found its way in all sorts of industries and all sorts of places? After that, we'll briefly touch on what is machine learning. After which, we will see what skills are required by scanning through a couple of job descriptions and producing a list for you guys. And then we will dive into machine learning roadmap here. We will build a roadmap for you guys that you guys can follow. And then finally, we'll give you a couple of useful resources to help you get started. So like our video if you haven't already and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon in order to be notified of any updates from our Edureka YouTube channel. And the links for the machine learning certifications are going to be in the description. Please do check them out as well. One more thing, this video is timelined, so you can jump to a specific part by clicking on the timestamps in the description. Alright, let's get on with the video. Firstly, we will take a look at the reason why machine learning has become so popular. Here we will see some of the applications of machine learning implemented by companies such as Netflix, Amazon, Google, Tesla, and so on, so that we can figure out the main reasons why machine learning has been adopted so readily by the whole world. So let's take a look at the first example, Netflix. And you might ask, Kevin, how is Netflix using machine learning? I thought it was just an entertainment content serving platform where users can search for content like movies or TV shows they want to watch. And you wouldn't be wrong. But where it starts to get interesting is when we look at the fact that over 75% of what its users watch is the stuff that is recommended to them. Okay, so now you might ask, that's a staggering number, and explain how it works. Well, Netflix's machine learning models use data that it has gathered from millions of users' watch history and their preferences. And using algorithms such as association rule, it can make predictions. Let me give you an example. If a new user watches movie A, then based on past data gathered by Netflix, the model knows that millions of users who watched movie A also liked movie B and movie E, but not movies C and D. So movies B and E are recommended to that new user and not movies C and D. This is just a simplified explanation for actually what goes on under the hood. What's interesting is that predictions have gotten better over the years with more and more data coming in, making the machine learning model reliable and increasingly accurate. So it's cool, it can make recommendations brilliant. But what does it really mean for the company and for the user? Well, for the user, it means they don't have to waste their time looking for the content they like to watch. Especially at the end of a long, hard day, they just want to relax and be entertained. So machine learning here takes out the burden of confusion that is selecting something to watch. Consider the alternative. If a user who's already tired gets home and now has to go through a whole list of movies or TV shows and figure out what he wants to watch, he might even get frustrated and give up and just go to bed. If this continues on for a long time, day after day, then the user might even get disenchanted and might unsubscribe from the Netflix services. So this brings us to what's in it for Netflix. Well, with the help of machine learning, Netflix is able to keep its users engaged without any effort from the user's end, because it caters to exactly what the user likes. At the push of a button, no thought involved. And this is where the trend of binge watching came from. As a matter of fact, it was a direct consequence of it. So in a nutshell, Netflix uses machine learning to grow its business and to stay relevant in the market. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Facebook is the next example. Have you ever been on Facebook to post a picture of you and your friends and Facebook automatically recognizes the names of the people in the picture? Well, how does that happen? If you're thinking machine learning, you are correct. Facebook is using machine learning to recognize the faces of the people in the photo that you're about to post and makes suggestions for tagging those people based on the predictions made by the machine learning algorithm. Another place that Facebook uses machine learning is it's in Marketplace by showing you personalized ads which are based on the models learning about your preference by gathering data such as your search history and your overall activities on Facebook and its related apps like Instagram, WhatsApp, and so on. Apart from these two features, there are many other features that uses machine learning models to make user experience unparalleled, which keeps the users coming back for more. Facebook has truly transformed how the society interacts, and at its core is machine learning and artificial intelligence, without which it wouldn't be able to keep its users engaged. This is how it is staying ahead of the curve. Alright, so with this example, I hope you got a glimpse of how machine learning is helping companies like Facebook dominate in their domain and venture into the new ones. Moving on, Tesla. If you don't know about Tesla and what it's been able to accomplish, then you probably live in a cave. No offense. But the point I'm trying to make is that Tesla has really revolutionized the car industry. But we aren't here to talk about that. We want to focus on a particular trick that Tesla's cars can do, which is mind-blowing, and it is called autopilot, a term they use for autonomous vehicles or self-driving cars. The machine learning and artificial intelligence models are trained to identify various objects that might be encountered on the road, and then they are trained on a plethora of different scenarios involving such objects. And finally, they are calibrated until they start making correct decisions much better and faster and safer than humans can ever make. These models have been continuously made better by the data from millions of Tesla cars out on the road every day. The data that they receive from Tesla cars include the data from cameras and radar sensors on the car. It has gotten to a point that these cars can actually drive themselves without human interference. This AI-like feature would not be possible without machine learning. Similar to Tesla, Amazon's AI virtual assistant called Alexa can recognize speech, detect the wake word like Alexa to answer your questions or commands, then formulate a response with appropriate knowledge extraction, and then synthesize spoken language to deliver the response. But it doesn't stop there. Alexa can also carry over context from one question to the next and register follow-up questions. All of this is possible with the help of machine learning. So a user interacting with Alexa kind of gets an experience that is similar to having a real conversation. Let's do two more examples really quickly and then we'll move on. Similar to Amazon's Alexa, Google's voice assistant is quite smart and very similar to Alexa as a matter of fact. Alexa and Google's voice assistants combined with IoT, short for Internet of Things, enables everyday objects like lights, TV, speaker, curtains, vacuum cleaners, and a whole bunch of other things to be controlled with just the user's voice, thanks to machine learning and the internet. Here's something you probably didn't know. Gmail's spam filtration uses machine learning too. Have you never wondered why all the fake spam emails don't end up in your Gmail inbox? That's because of Gmail's spam filtering. It classifies the incoming mail as spam or not spam with the help of machine learning. This is perhaps the most common use of machine learning that a lot of people aren't aware of. So I hope that these examples gave you a sense of why it is important, but let me list out the reasons explicitly. So the first reason, a good machine learning model minimizes the chances of error. So it can be much better than humans at some things like driving, for example. Machines don't get tired and they are light years ahead at computing and parsing data, which humans are really bad at. This is especially useful in things like autonomous vehicles, pharmaceuticals, medicals, and so on, where the margin for error is very slim. Next, like we saw in many of the previous examples, the success of many of the businesses can be tied to machine learning. It boosts businesses with data-driven decisions. Finally, machine learning propels the advancement of science and technology in all sorts of fields like physics, biology, anthropology, and you name it. Because as I mentioned in the first point, machines are faster, better with data, better at recognizing patterns and producing useful insights that us humans usually can't do. This is incredibly helpful for scientists all over the world in diverse fields who would previously spend so many years trying to make sense of all of that data. Now that we have seen why, let's see what. Let's move on to the next question, which is, what is machine learning? Let's go over it very quickly. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence which provides systems or machines the ability to learn automatically and improve from experience without being explicitly programmed. So basically, it's the concept of giving machines the ability to learn from data on their own without us explicitly telling them how to do that. Okay, not bad, not bad. So far we have seen why the world needs machine learning and what it is. Now let's change tracks and see what skills are required if you want to build machines that can learn on their own. We'll first go through a couple of job descriptions to filter out the skills needed. Then I will list the skills for you. Alright, so the first one we have is from Apple and it's for ML engineer. You can pause your screen if you wish to read it, but I'll quickly give you the bullet points. They want somebody who knows Python and libraries like scikit-learn, pandas. The candidate should be really good with big data and database technologies. The candidate is also required to be familiar with the Linux operating system, and they should have familiarity with TensorFlow. So let's move on to the next one. This one is from EY and it's for an AI ML engineer. Again, pause your screen if you want to, but here's the gist. They want somebody who knows machine learning development and infrastructure, and the person should know big data and cloud-based architecture. They should also possess programming and algorithmic skills. Some programming languages they mentioned are Java and Python. And the candidate should also be well versed in big data tools like Spark. So from the two job descriptions, we can extract the list required, and they are as follows. First, one should know a programming language. You can learn languages like Python, Java, C++, and so on. Although do note that Python is the go-to choice for most of the organizations around the world for making machine learning models because of its powerful libraries. So for the purpose of this video, we will emphasize on Python. Second, you should really strengthen your math fundamentals. Don't worry, it's not all math that you need to be good at, but particular areas of math, which we'll see later on in the video in the roadmap section. But for now, just remember that you need to be well versed in math that has any utility in machine learning. Third, you must know various types of machine learning models and algorithms. Along with this, you should also be able to implement these abstract concepts using machine learning libraries like NumPy, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, Panda. These are some of the famous ones. Fourth, it's a good idea to learn how to build machine learning systems that can process natural language, which can be in the form of text, audio, or video. The reason why this is a good idea to learn right off the bat is because first, natural language is all around us, and second, this will help you get ready for more complex machine learning and artificial intelligence projects in the future. 5. Because data is produced in obscenely high volumes every day, and so it's essential for someone thinking about a career in machine learning to know how to work with big data. And so they should know technologies like PySpark, Hadoop, etc. So those were the top 5 skills that you should acquire if you want to start a career in machine learning. So now you might ask, well, how do we get them, Kev? Well, it's finally time to lift up the curtain on roadmap. So why don't we get started? Here's the roadmap. First, programming languages and libraries. Well, there are many programming languages to choose from, but we highly recommend Python because it's very useful when it comes to machine learning, and the whole world is using Python. But regardless of the programming languages that you choose, you should be able to understand how to do file operations like read and write, and how to load files into memory. You should know how to work with functions and object-oriented programming. You should know how to use modules for reusability of the code so you don't end up writing the same code again and again. You should know how to handle exceptions. And if you're using Python, you should know Python libraries like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and so on. So there are so many useful resources. If you want to get started with the first step, we actually have a certification in Python just specifically for this so that you can learn it for machine learning. Or you can even check out our YouTube videos that will give you some of the tutorials. If you need more help, then again, go down in the description and find the link to that certification. It's going to be Python certification for machine learning. Moving on. Second, mathematics for machine learning. Let's get into what kind of math do you actually need for machine learning. So these are the areas that you need to work on: linear algebra, calculus, probability, and statistics. So diving a little deeper in each of the areas, starting with linear algebra, you should know what a scalar is, a vector is, a matrix is, and you should know how to perform different operations on each one of them. And of course, you need to know what the application of linear algebra is in machine learning. Then moving on, calculus, you should know what differentiation rules are, what partial differentiation is and how does it work. And of course, you should know the application of calculus in machine learning. Probability. So you should know all the terminologies in probability. You should know what distribution in probability is and how it works, the types of probability, Bayes' theorem, and application of probability in machine learning. Lastly, for statistics, you should know all the terminologies, of course. You should know what different sampling techniques are, types of statistics, and hypothesis testing. So that was all about what to learn. But what about where to go to find all of this? We have excellent blogs on our Edureka website that you can access for free. It covers end to end of what we just discussed and more. We have a collection of full-length YouTube videos to help you learn this math. But if you do need more help with this stuff, as it happens, people could be coming from various educational backgrounds where math was not taught to them, then we do have statistics courses on our websites, and we will be happy to leave the links to them in the description. Okay, moving on. Step number 3, data science and machine learning fundamentals. In data science, you should know stuff like what is data science, data analysis pipeline, data extraction, types of data, techniques like data wrangling, exploratory data analysis, data visualization, and so on. And when it comes to machine learning, you should know what are the types of machine learning models. For example, supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, and what are the different types of algorithms that are used within these different types of models. And you should know concepts like dimensionality reduction, time series analysis, and finally, after you learn all of these, you should know how to do model selection and boosting. So this is where most of the people start to have trouble because they don't have a set path. And so I recommend to go for a certification. And we have an amazing certification. It's called Python Machine Learning Certification, which dwells into the basics of data science and machine learning and talks all about the various techniques and algorithms that we just discussed. And it prepares learners with the help of a dozen or more case studies. And with many hands-on projects, you'll be building machine learning models yourself in no time. So I'll be happy to leave the link to that certification in the description. Do check it out. You can thank me later. Moving on. Step number 4, natural text processing. So after you're done with data science and machine learning fundamentals, algorithm techniques, and you build a couple of hands-on projects, so you get a good grasp on the basics of machine learning and you can actually build practical models out of it. Next step is to start learning about natural language processing. Here you should learn about text mining and what natural language processing is. You should learn how to extract, clean, and pre-process text. You should also learn how to analyze sentence structures using various tools and models. And then also learn text classification using different models. We have amazing certification for this one as well, which is called NLP with Python certification. where you learn all these concepts and you actually get to do practical labs and you can build projects. And this is a lot of fun because you're going to be able to do that with other learners. So I'm going to leave the link to that certification in the description. You can also check out our YouTube videos on this, and you can also check out our blogs that can help you out in this regard as well. Moving on. So fifth and final step for this roadmap is big data and tools like PySpark, Hadoop, etc. So let's take a look at them. So in terms of big data technology, you should understand the concepts of big data, Hadoop, and Spark. And you should be very good with Apache Spark framework. You should be able to have enough knowledge to play with Spark RDDS. You should properly know the data frames and Spark SQL. And you should be able to use Spark MLlib to do machine learning. And you can understand the basics of Apache Kafka and Apache Flume. And you should absolutely know Apache Spark streaming, processing multiple batches of data and data sources. And you should know a little bit of Spark GraphX as well. Now, I know all of this is going to sound very complex, but I'm going to give you a link to certification, and then there's so many useful resources that we have on YouTube channel in terms of tutorial for each of these topics that you can explore and you can learn for yourself. But if you do need a little bit of help, don't be afraid. Like we have great certifications, we have great blogs, and we will leave the links to them down below. And if you have any questions ever, don't be threatened by all of this. You can always come to us and ask us. And so before we actually move on to the last section of the video, let's quickly recap. So the first step is to just learn some of the programming languages. We recommend Pythons, and they're great libraries for machine learning. And then learn the math needed for machine learning. We went over that as well. The third step is to learn the data science and machine learning fundamentals, algorithms, techniques, and do some hands-on projects. We have amazing certifications for that as well. After that, it is very essential to learn natural text processing and how to do that using different models. And then finally, you should understand big data and tools like PySpark and Hadoop, because they're very necessary in today's world because of the amount of data that we're producing every day. And so if you follow all of these steps properly, and if you need any help, just let us know. But we want you to become a machine learning wizard. And so we hope through this video that you are able to follow all of these steps and you can get to where you want to go. So the last session is useful resources to help you get started. Obviously, throughout the video, I kind of gave you a glimpse of what are the kind of resources that you can refer back to if you need help during the whole process, during the whole roadmap. But one of the most useful resources that you can find is our YouTube channel. You can find all sorts of tutorials, and especially the stuff that we took a look at. All of the skills that we discussed are going to be on our YouTube Edureka channel. So please go check that out as well if you want to get started. If you have any questions, you can obviously let us know. Another rich source for educational content is our blogs. If you haven't checked out our blogs, I do recommend that you do it right after this video because they're amazing. And for the people who need a little bit of help, don't worry, we got you. We have so many certifications. We're going to leave the links to each of these in the description below. But everything that we went through, there's certification for each one of them. And our master programs covers all of the 5 skills that we spoke about, and it can take you from zero to hero in machine learning. And I just want to point out before I share parting words with you in this video that our master's programs alumni work for amazing companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Cisco, Dell, KPMG, and many more. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you very much.
I hope you have enjoyed listening to this video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries, and we will reply them at the earliest. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to Edureka channel to learn more. Happy learning!